Swazi. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we welcome the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, everyone. Great to see all of you. We're here in Glen Cove to update New Yorkers on our efforts to crack down on crime, something I know is critically important. Here on Long Island, we've partnered with local police departments and county police departments to drive down murders and violent incidences and overall crime, and we're not letting up. And I want to acknowledge the many partners we have here in the audience, starting with our congressman, a person who knows this community very well, is the former mayor of Glen Cove, our Congressman Tom Swazi. You'll be hearing from him in a couple minutes. My great partners in the state legislature. These are the individuals who help deliver for these communities, but also are your voices in our state capitol, and I'm so grateful to have so many represented here today. Senator Kevin Thomas has joined us. Senator Thomas. Senator Monica Martinez has joined us. Assemblymember Chuck Levine has joined us. We're in his district. Assemblymember Taylor Darling has come. We also have Delia DeRiggi-Witten, the Nassau County Minority Leader, is here as well. Good to see you. I also come out of local government, so I love my mayors, and I'm very happy to see Mayor Pam Panzenbeck here. Members of the City Council have joined us as well. Members from my administration, our New York State Police Superintendent, Stephen James, is here as well. And of course, the men and women of law enforcement who are here to celebrate and thank because they are such an important part of driving down the crime rate here in this great community, here in this county, but all across the state. And Chief Whitten, the City of Glen Cove Police Department, Chief Whitten, thank you. Thank you for all you're doing for us. We also have representatives from the Nassau County PBA and the Suffolk County PBAs. Let's give them a round of applause as well. And Rabbi Michael Churgill of the North Country Reform Temple, thank you for hosting us here today. Thank you. Thank you very much. My number one job has always been, will always be, to keep New Yorkers safe. Whether you're at work, at home, or worshiping in a synagogue. That is the fundamental role of government. It's foundational to all of our other work to improve New Yorkers' quality of life. And that's why when I first became governor, my first priority was to help dial back some of that unease and the anxiety that was affecting so many communities as we saw the aftermath of the pandemic. Crime rates soared, not just in New York, but all across the country. But we were hard hit. Crime was up all over the state. Crime was up here on Long Island. And I said to my agency commissioners and our allies in local and county police departments, you're the experts. You're out there on the front lines. You tell me as your governor what tools you need to be successful, and I will get them to you. And at the time, there were other voices recklessly calling to defund the police. Wrong then, wrong now, wrong forever. And so, instead of defunding the police, I upped the numbers dramatically. In my first 3 budgets, with the cooperation and support of the individuals here, we dramatically increased funding to fight crime all across this state. The first year I came into office, 2021, Long Island, all of Long Island, received $7 million from the state of New York to support local police, district attorneys, other anti-crime initiatives. You know what we did last year? $47 million dedicated to fighting crime here on Long Island. That was last year. The budget we just concluded, I said we're going to go big or go home. We secured over $50 million to help Long Islanders fight crime and be safe. No governor has been as committed as I am to preserving the quality of life and keeping Long Islanders safe and investing in local police departments. I know a lot about this. My husband was a federal prosecutor for 30 years. My son is now a federal prosecutor. We support law enforcement. We support our district attorneys. We support all of you who are out there doing everything you can, serving the public in countless ways, putting your own lives in danger. All the men and women in uniform. Because I know if we invest in our local police departments, we're investing in the very best people. Public servants who uphold our Constitution, the safety and security of our towns and the villages and the counties where they live. Let me be very clear. I believe in local police departments like Glen Cove with their great chief who's joined us here today, Chief Whitten. I believe in the Nassau County police departments. I believe in the Suffolk County police forces. I believe my good friends like Nassau County PBA President Tommy Shevlin and our Suffolk County PBA President Lou Civello. They couldn't make it here today. They wish they could. They're taking much-deserved breaks. But their board members are here on their behalf today. I want them to stand right now so we can recognize all of you. All the board members of the PBA, please stand up. Thank you. Now, I believe in what you do. That's why, for the life of me, I can't understand why someone would think there's a need to build a separate militia, for example. I don't know that you need that here on Long Island because we have the best in uniform, highly trained individuals, and I trust them. I trust them. We all trust them. So put that aside. Put that aside. We'll discuss that later. But anybody making the claim that we need more reinforcements than these individuals, who are also backed up by the New York State Police, who I believe in, there are enough professionally trained, full-time people dedicated to the cause of keeping you safe. Let me just point that out. So let's get to some progress. Let's get to the progress we're here to talk about today. One thing that's clear is our efforts are working. By forming the first interstate task force on illegal guns, which means that there are now, as a result of my efforts, 11 states contiguous to New York and beyond that are all on the same page, sharing data, sharing cases, doing everything they can to stop the pipeline of illegal guns coming to our streets up 95, and also those that have come in from Pennsylvania, where the laws, as you know, are vastly different than our laws here in the state of New York coming up Route 81. We know how to track them, we see them, and we're stopping them. We're also boosting coordination between all agencies. As I said, making unprecedented investments in local police, and here are some of the results. Just look at the numbers. Since I became governor in 2021, shootings on Long Island are down 47%. Think about this. Those who like to look at the history books, think about this. Last year, shootings on Long Island reached their lowest point in recorded history. On top of that last year record, we're down another 44% this year from then. I mean, that's extraordinary. That is extraordinary. Since I took office, murders on Long Island are down 35%. That's amazing. Murders last year on Long Island were also the lowest on record in at least 50 years. So think about that, process that. That was last year. Great record. This year we're 50% lower than that record. So that's all the good news I wanted to share with you here today. We're making major efforts to drive down violent crime and overall crime. And again, we're focusing on a lot of specific areas. My number one job was to stop the violent crimes, the shootings and the murders, because we could also be sitting here almost 3 years later and seeing those numbers go up and up and up. So do not take for granted that this was the normal course of events. It was a concerted effort. It was the teamwork that was built around this effort with Albany, but also our local officials, our local men and women in uniform. So I'm here to praise all of you. Overall crime this year is down 15%. 15% down, not up 15%. But I'm not here to take a victory lap. I'm here to celebrate the collective efforts. We also know that one victim of gun violence is too many, and that means we still have work to do. And I'll also note the atrocity that occurred in Pennsylvania. I just spoke to the Pennsylvania governor. It shakes us to our core. It does create that sense of vulnerability once again, and we must fight against that. We must hold strong. It condemned all acts of violence, but particularly those who try to silence those who run for office. That's egregious, and I will continue to condemn that and continue to support all of our agencies that protect everybody, as they should. So how do we do that? In May, we awarded $127 million to local police departments and sheriff's office for new technology. This is how you get ahead of the bad guys, right? It's technology. This is our advantage. License plate readers, body-worn body cameras, patrol equipment, camera systems. These are critical tools that become expensive for local police departments. This is where we can play a role. Tell us what you need. We'll get it in the hands of the people who know how to use it. We can prevent crimes, solve crimes, and ultimately improve public safety. And that's why I'm proud to announce that the Glen Clove Police Department will be receiving $1.1 million to keep your residents safe. So, and I know that money's well spent because I trust them. I trust them to do the right thing. And we're going to continue focusing on making sure we increase the amount of money that we give toward our local police officers. We secured a record $347 million. But I'm also focused on other areas of crime, as is your representatives in the legislature. We talk about other crimes that continue to be spiking as we focus on violent crime that pops up over here. What am I talking about? Retail theft. We weren't talking about that a couple of years ago. But the criminals have become so brazen that they're part of international shoplifting rings, and they're selling the merchandise that they stole from your local stores on the internet. That cannot stay. So we're finding ways to eradicate that as well. I added $40 million with the help of the men and women in the front row here, $40 million more to establish dedicated retail theft teams within state police, the DA's offices, and local police departments. They will not get away with this. We will catch them red-handed. And they'll go after these brazen rings with the same focus that we use to drive down the gun violence. We're also protecting vulnerable communities from hate crimes. And as the governor of a state that is so proud of its diversity, it's what separates us from everybody else. We're the place that people come for freedom from economic oppression, religious suppression, racial and ethnic strife. They come to this great country. My grandparents came, they were so poor. Became migrant farm workers, domestic servants, eventually could work. My grandpa could make steel like my dad did. People come here for so many reasons. But to know at this particular time, we've seen this heartbreaking rise in anti-Semitism, especially after the atrocities of October 7th. I went there right afterward. I'll never get the images out of my head of what I saw. What really hurt, though, is coming back to our own country, our own cities, and seeing a rise in people who are so filled with hate that it's spilled over into not just their words, but their actions on campuses and in communities and other places where people should be open-minded, embracing other ideas, challenging their own thoughts about the world. but never denigrating people because of their own religious beliefs. My friend, we cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that that's the reality in so many of our communities right now. And we've seen it right here in Nassau County. Last year, a swastika was carved into a tree near the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center, less than 1 mile from where we are today. A symbol, yes, but it's a manifestation of hatred. And we have to do a better job in teaching our children about what America really means, what it stands for, and how all of us as the adults and passing on the values to our children know we have to preserve this great union. It's an imperfect union for sure, but it's up to us to make it better. So we will never allow for this to stand. That's why I increased funding from our Securities Against Hate Crimes program. I increased it 40% from last year to $35 million. So we have money for high-risk entities, our synagogues and places, so they can buy the equipment they need so people feel safe when they come to worship. That is a basic right of people in this great state. So with our record investments and our record results, we're on our way. And we will not let up. We'll not take our foot off the gas, and we'll continue investing in crime-fighting strategies that we now know will actually work. And again, it starts with your local police departments, giving them the tools that they need, giving the mayor and the city council the support they need so they can make those investments, do the hires. I can't tell you how many police officers and police chiefs I had to hire as a member of a town board for 14 years. I knew what I was looking for in these individuals. I wanted people who had the kindness of heart that they would help somebody cross the street or get a kitten out of a tree, but be as tough as they needed to be when the circumstances challenged them. That's what we get with our local police departments. That's why I believe in them. That's why I'll continue to support them. And as governor, I'll leave no stone unturned in my quest to give people what they deserve, and that is the security of knowing that they and their families will always be safe, free from anxiety and fear. So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you for coming out here today to hear this good news. Spread the good news. Let people know if you're a criminal, your days are numbered, and we're coming after you. And let me introduce someone who is laser focused in how he represents this part of our great state, his hometown, his home district in Washington, D.C., to ensure that we have the resources to protect communities and to do everything else we need to do to ensure the safety and security and the well-being of our residents. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our Congressman Tom Suozzi.
Let's hear it for Governor Kathy Hochul. You know, the governor said in her remarks, the governor said that she came here to praise law enforcement. But I want you to join me in praising Governor Kathy Hochul. We're so grateful to you, Governor. We really appreciate you. I also want to, is it Stephen? Steve. I think Steve and Teddy look very good up here. Let's give them a round of applause. Governor, we appreciate and we know your commitment to law enforcement, and it means so much to us. And it means so much to me that you're helping my hometown of the city of Glen Cove here today as well. So we're very, very grateful to you. We're grateful to the members of the state legislature that is here as well. Can the assembly members and state senators please stand up and let's give them a round of applause. You know, I became the mayor of the city of Glen Cove in 1994, and I've been through a lot of journeys since then, a lot of ups and a lot of downs. You know about some of those downs of mine, right, Governor? And I know that the most important part of public service is trying to help people, and I know that you are committed to helping people. You're committed to trying to make the world a better place to live in. And what you're doing here today with the state legislature by providing this money to law enforcement is helping people lives to be better. And, you know, there are a lot of people that demagogue about these different issues. I want people to remember that Nassau County has the lowest crime rate in the United States of America for any community over 500,000 people. It's a very, very safe place. And because of the work of the governor and the state legislature and the county police force and the local police forces and all of you, it's even safer than it's ever been. So that means a tremendous amount. And Suffolk County is one of the 10 safest places in the country as well. So we can't let people demagogue on this issue to know what such a safe place it really is here. And the city of Glen Cove, because we live on a peninsula, we have our own police department here, our crime rate is actually half the crime rate of Nassau County. Sorry, Nassau County guys, but Glen Cove. So when I first became mayor in 1994, the police were working in trailers. And we worked to get them a new police department. And we worked to make our law enforcement stronger than ever. And this money today will make them more effective and stronger than they've ever been before. So, Governor, not only on behalf of the people of my district, but for the people of Glen Cove and the people of all of Long Island, the people of New York State, we thank you for your commitment to law enforcement. We praise you for it. We're grateful to you and to the state legislature for providing this money. And let's keep on moving forward together. Now, you can give a round of applause for that. So now I want to introduce a very good friend of mine. He's been a state assemblyman since 1995, I think he was elected. What year were you elected, Ted? What's your name again? Chuck. What year were you elected? 1995? 2005. 2005. So he's a great guy. He's been a great Glen Cover for decades. He does so much. He cares so much about people. He's got a national role among Jewish legislators that the governor was talking about the hate crimes against Jewish Americans these days and the anti-Semitism that exists. There was a poll the other day that said people in New York City that are Jewish don't feel safe. We appreciate the governor's commitment to eradicating anti-Semitism and making people feel safe. But a great leader on that topic and so many other topics is our great friend, New York State Assemblyman Chuck Levine.
And let's hear it for Tom Suozzi. Without whom I wouldn't be in office in the first place. Stories for another day. But here's a story for today. And I first want to extend best wishes and many thanks to Rabbi Shergel, and Pastor Roger Williams is here as well. But I had the unique opportunity of serving two separate terms, two separate tenures as general counsel for North Country Reformed Temple. Now you might wonder, did that experience go to good use? Well, I would have to say this, that I think I learned more about bare-knuckle politics, in fact, more about brass-knuckle politics, by representing North Country Reformed Temple than I ever learned in secular government whatsoever. But we were able to put those skills and those techniques to good work. And I want to say what an honor and a pleasure it is, as always, to be with my old friend, Governor Kathy Hochul, who's just done a remarkable job for the people of the state of New York. And that's an applause line right there. So let me just point out a few other things about what is going on in the state of New York, thanks to Governor Hochul's leadership. We are now, and this was a battle, protecting children from the bad actors on social media. We wouldn't be doing that without Governor Hochul. We have focused on domestic terrorism and extremism, establishing, and this is thanks to Governor Hochul, a special unit in the Division of Homeland Security to attack that crisis. $40 million has been allocated, thank you, Governor, to combat retail theft in New York State and to provide more money to provide tax credits for establishments, for businesses that have lost money because of retail theft. $35 million to combat hate crimes, as the governor had mentioned. This may not sound like a major controversy for a lot of people, but it is. We had enacted in New York State the red flag law, the extreme risk protection order process, which has saved lives time and again. But in order for people to be able to get an extreme risk protection order, they had to go to court and purchase an index number. Time consuming, and some people just don't have the money to do that. Thank you, Governor Hochul. That has been exempted in New York State. These are important matters. These are life and death matters that affect the people of the state of New York. I'm going to mention one final thing. Thanks to Governor Hochul, New York State has adopted the Judicial Security Protection Act. As chairman of the Judiciary Committee, I'm very proud to have worked closely with the governor to engineer this, to bring this about. Not an easy lift, I will tell you, not an easy lift at all. Nothing in legislation is an easy lift, but especially this. Judges, their staff, their family can now receive protection to have their identifying information scrubbed from the internet. So important, especially in this day and age. We know what a challenge this day and age is. But that challenge that we face is a challenge we face together as elected officials, as citizens of the state of New York, as people involved in law enforcement, and as we know, we are as proud as can be of our law enforcement in the state of New York, in Nassau County, and in the city of Glen Cove. And with that in mind, I want to introduce an old and dear friend, Chief Bill Whitten, who heads the Glen Cove Police Department, of which we are all so proud. But before you come up, Bill, I just remembered something. And Governor Hochul, thank you as well, because we were able to get $250,000 to the Glen Cove Police Department last year for new squad cars. So enjoy those new cars, Chief. Please, a warm welcome for Chief Bill Whitten.
Oh my God, I have to go after these three? This is going to be disastrous. Chuck, I'd like to tell you that that $250 for the new cars has been well spent, and we've only crashed 2 of them so far. But they weren't told. We were able to make them work. Okay. But seriously, on a serious note, Governor Hochul, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, for supplying us with this funding that we're going to be able to use to enhance our police department's efforts to keep this community one of the safest communities in Glen Cove to live in the state of New York. I can't say enough about the men and the women of the Glen Cove Police Department, the dedication that they have to follow through with criminal investigations, to see it through, to make arrests, to prevent arrests by community outreach. We do a lot of work in the city of Glen Cove and the school system, amongst other areas that I believe really pay extreme dividends for us. And we're going to continue to do that. I do believe, and I really do believe this, that there's a fine line between law and order and societal decay. And with the funding level that you've just given us, we're going to be able to work to keep this community as safe as it is right now and possibly even get safer. I would also like to mention to you, Governor, that the City of Glen Cove Police Department has an excellent working relationship with the State of New York Police. Steve Udis and I have become friendly over the years, and all I need to do is pick the phone up and call him, and we get what we need. And Steve, I want to thank you for that. So Stevens Martinez told me I only had like 90 seconds to talk. I wanted to roast a few people, but I think I'm going to have to put that on hold. I do want to reach out right now and thank the mayor, Mayor Pamela Panzenbach, for giving us all the resources that we need on a local level. You've always been there for us. You've always been there for us, even when you were on the city council. And I want to personally thank you and Marcia and everybody else that's here from the city council. Okay, Zozo and who else is hiding back there? There she is. Okay. For supporting us each and every time that we go to the mayor and the council and we ask for resources, we get it. We never get stonewalled, and I want to thank you all for that. Congressman Swazi. You seem taller these days. How are you pulling that off? Any event, Tom, as I like to call him, I've known him forever, mentioned that we were in trailers when he took over as mayor. We were. And within a short period of time, I believe it was a little over a year, we moved into the current facility that we're in now. And it's been palatial for us, and we're certainly outgrowing it as the community gets bigger and bigger, but we're making it work. And I thank you for everything that you did for us while you were mayor, while you were county executive, and now you're congressman. From the bottom of our hearts, we know you're behind us. Chuck Levine, I'd like to also thank you for what you've done for us. Anytime that we've called you up and asked you, you've been there for us. And, you know, whether it's funding or an ear to talk to or a local issue, we know we can come to you, and thank you, okay? Thank you all.
At this time, could everyone please remain in their seats? Thank you.